What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for some more content for you guys, and today we will be discussing the 10 takeaways from the season. As you already know, every single game we give you 5 takeaways to see what you can take away from each and every game. Today we are looking at the 10 takeaways we can take away from the entire season. It's been a season full of ups and downs, mainly ups right at the end, which absolutely caused scenes around the Tottenham fan base. And let's go and have a look at the first takeaway, and that is number 1, Conte impact.
Yes, we looked at the difference between Nuno and Conte a few months ago, and now we can see the improvement under Conte has been really incredible since he's come in November. Spurs obviously lost 5 of their first 10 games, scoring 9 goals in 10 games and conceding 16. Since Conte took over, we scored 28. We scored 60 goals in 28 games, only conceding 24 in those 28 games, losing 6 of the 28 games, which were when we lost 5 of the 10, which is an absolutely massive difference. If you take the average expected goals as well, under Nuno we were our XG was averaging 1.02 per game. Under Conte, it's 1.96, and the average XG against under Nuno was 1.3. Under Conte, it's 0.9, and which is and obviously Spurs, when it comes to all the tables and points and stuff like that, we're third, just behind City and Liverpool. So it's been an absolute massive difference since Conte has taken over, and what an impact he's had. And it's because of him we are where we are, and what a job he's done.
Absolutely. And you know, it wasn't just those kind of stats. I think the Conte came in, and first and foremost he sorted out that fitness within the team that was lacking since the Jose Mourinho days, and that also showed out in the stats, didn't it? Because we became pretty much the lowest running team to like the highest running team in the league. From January onwards we were the highest scoring team in the league. So I mean, Nuno and Conte Tottenham's were just worlds apart, absolutely worlds apart, and Conte's version of just literally been getting better and better and better as the season progressed, and it's just great to see. This is what a world-class elite manager brings to you, and that is exactly what he brought to us. Every single player improved under Conte, and that's just proof in the pudding about how world-class the man actually is, isn't it?
Definitely, 100%.
So let's move on to the second takeaway, and that is opening goal.
So the first goal has been very crucial this season for Tottenham, and I think it's borne out in the stats. We keep talking about the opening goal, how important it is to start right and get an early goal and stuff like that. When conceding first, Spurs have played 15. They've only won 4 of those 15 games, drawn 1 and lost 10. Not horrific though. I think we are 5th, I think, in terms of coming back from losing position. So it's not horrific, but 0.87 points per game when we are conceding first. When we're scoring first, we've scored the opening goal 21 times. We've won 18 of those games, drawing 2 and only losing 1, which was the Southampton game in January. Points per game, 2.67 points per game when we're scoring the first goal, 0.87 points per game when we're conceding the first goal. What a difference that is. That's like nearly a 100% record, pretty much, when scoring first. We have a 100% record when leading at half time as well, which is the only team in the league to have that record. So shows to me as well that Conte really knows how to manage the game when we have taken the lead. I think that's crucial. Obviously 3 of those wins did come under Nuno, went under in the first 3 games of the season, but most of them have been under Conte.
Yeah, and it kind of shows what us and the fans know, really, because how many times this season we'll be like, oh, Conte leaves it too late in games to change a game. But nah, like, this guy is an elite manager. You have to listen to everything he says, accept every decision he makes as well, because obviously he knows best. And that stat being at half-time, 100%, I mean, compare that to the Jose Mourinho days, you know. How many times...
the league, weren't we, for points lost from winning positions?
How many times did we take the lead under Jose Mourinho and then not go on and win that game?
Yeah,
so many times, and it was mainly down to fitness, in my opinion. But Conte, he's got such attention to detail in every single facet of the game. It's just mind-blowing, to be honest. It really is. Let's go on to the third takeaway, and that is January signings.
So they really did help us over the line, the boys from Juventus, Kulusevski and Bentancur, and they did make a brilliant impact. Under Conte, we had played 10 games before the January signings came in. Won 6, drawn 3, lost 1. So not terrible. We scored 17 goals in those 10 games, conceding 8. So not a terrible record, but we became a lot more efficient when after January. We had 16 games after the January signings came in, won 11 of them, drawn 2, lost 3. Scored 41 goals in those 16 games, conceding only 11. So before January, it was 1.7 goals per game. After January, it was 2.6 goals per game, and we conceded 0.8 goals per game before Jan and 0.7 after Jan. In terms of points, it was 2.1 before and 2.2 after, so not a massive difference. There was definitely a difference in terms of how we were attacking and how proficient we were going forward. And I think Bentancur definitely helped shore up that defence after. And it was a massive help to the team, because I think in January we were stuttering a bit, and they just helped us re-energise and reinvigorate the team.
Absolutely. Like you say, Bentancur massively helped up the front line, but he helped going forward as well. And Kulusevski just completely revolutionised that front line. The stats speak for themselves. And yeah, the points per game might be a bit similar, but when you actually saw how we were playing and what we were doing on a football pitch, I think it was miles apart, worlds apart.
41 goals in 16 games.
Absolutely unbelievable. So they're the reason we're playing on Wednesday next season. So big up to the boys from Juventus, Bentancur and Kulusevski, and big up to Don Paratici for getting them over the line as well. So, all right, and moving on to the fourth takeaway, and that is Son in numbers.
So yeah, what a season Heung-min Son has had for Spurs. Not just getting the golden boot, but his all-round game has been absolutely exceptional. He's if you look at his season numbers, obviously 23 goals, which is his highest ever Premier League total. Obviously winning him the golden boot, one achievement that is. When it comes to assists, 7 assists, which puts him in the top 10 in the Premier League. You look in key passes as well. He gets 2.1 key passes per game, which is 3rd in the Premier League, which is level with Martin Odegaard. Wow. Impressively enough, when you can think about how many chances Odegaard lays off for his team. In terms of numbers, who he's assisted by, he's been assisted 5 times by Harry Kane, he's been assisted 5 times by Kulusevski, and he's been assisted 3 times by Lucas Moura throughout the season. So he really is the one getting on the end of things when his teammates are looking for assists, because his runs are absolutely fantastic. And 5 of Kulusevski's 8 assists have been to Heung-min Son, which is brilliant. And it's just been an unbelievable season from Heung-min Son. I think probably his best in the Spurs shirt, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, and in terms of that Kulusevski and Son link up, I didn't actually realise that till now, till you brought up the stats. And are we seeing another bit of a bromance link up that we haven't really noticed? I mean, for them to get the same assists and Kulu to be there only half the time is mind blowing, in my opinion.
Yeah, Son has 7. I think Kulu has more assists.
No, I'm talking about assists for Son from Kane.
Right. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Unbelievable. Both. He's had 5 assists. I think must have been 2 of them maybe against Villa. I know he definitely got one against Villa. He got one. Did he get one against Norwich? Actually, I don't think he did get one.
No, he didn't against Norwich.
So I don't know when they came. One against Leicester, definitely. That was a good assist for. They've definitely struck up a really good partnership, and Kulusevski has a knack for spotting Son's runs, and he's been brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. So big up Heung-min Son, your new Golden Boot winner. And player of the season for Tottenham Hotspur, hands down. And if he's not in the running for the actual PFA Player of the Year, I don't know what they're actually smoking out there. But let's move on to number 5 now, and that is solid back line.
So Spurs conceded 40 goals at the end of the season in 38 games. Fairly solid return, which is the least amount of goals we've conceded since the 18-19 season under Mauricio Pochettino, when we conceded 39 goals. If you're taking just Conte's time at Tottenham, we conceded 0.86 goals per game, which extrapolated over a whole season, that would be 33 goals conceded for the season, which would be the least since our last season at White Hart Lane, 16-17. So
how many was that year?
That was 26 goals. We can say, wow, that's exceptional. So it wouldn't be as much as that, but it's definitely still so pretty good. Apart. Yeah, obviously we kept 16 clean sheets this season, which is our most ever, I think, in the Premier League era, which is a fantastic return. So Conte has really done wonders with our back line since he's come in, and hopefully next season could get even stronger. Yeah,
the best thing about that is that the personnel that we've got in that back line, when you cast your mind back to the end of last season, of like, get rid of Davis, get rid of Dyer, get rid of Sanchez, get rid of everyone, you know what I mean? And Conte's come in, he says, Dyer in the middle, Davis on the left, Romero on the right, and two of those players everyone would have just casted away. And they've been two of our most consistent players throughout the whole season. So you've got to big up Antonio Conte for the way he sets up his team and for the belief that he's given these defenders as well. So unbelievable defensive numbers there, where halfway through the season last year, everyone, Spurs fans and everyone in the Premier League was saying, oh, this Spurs defence is rubbish.
Yeah, and they've proved everyone wrong, haven't they?
Yeah.
In terms of how they can perform, especially in a back three. So credit to Conte for getting the best out of them. Credit for the players for stepping up. And next season, once they've had a whole pre-season under Conte and reinforcements as well, you can only see that getting better.
And that just proves how much of a difference a manager can make. You know what I mean? Because all the reasons I said before. But anyway, let's move on to number 6, and that is attacking numbers.
So Spurs at the end of the season had a total of 69 goals scored this season, our most since our first season at Wembley in 17-18, when we scored 74 goals, which is very impressive. Again, if we take our goals scored under Conte, we were averaging 2.14 goals per game, which extrapolated over a whole season is 81 goals, which would have been our most since our last season at White Hart Lane when we scored 86 goals. So the goal output as well is absolutely massive. A massive improvement for the last few seasons, and the numbers show we're getting back to the levels of the Poch team, which is the most crucial element to this, compared to where we've been in the wilderness. So it's not just the number of points we're getting and the performances, but the numbers show we're getting back to where we were a few years ago, and we're definitely on the right track.
Yeah, and that's what we've been saying basically since Poch got sacked, since Mourinho come in, Nuno come in. We need to get back to those levels, and those stats you read out there are music to my ears, seeing that we're getting close to that level. And the amount of goals we scored in the second half of the season, again, just mind-blowing. Kulusevski, a central part to that. Harry Kane coming back into the form was obviously massive to that as well. And Sonny with the elite levels just throughout the whole season as well. Brilliant stuff. So I'm so excited to see, with another transfer window behind Antonio Conte, to see what he can do and see what level he can take us to next season. Can we get better than what we were under Poch?
I think so. Why not? I mean, you've got to think about how long it took Poch to get to their level, you know, and Conte's done it in half the time, pretty much, because Poch needed a whole season. Conte needed 6 months.
Yeah, it's a bit different in terms of like the profile of squad. Like then we had a very young squad coming through. You know, a certain manager said that it's never been done before to finish in the top 4 with a squad so young. But clearly, obviously, it has. And obviously, the profile now, you've got Son and Kane in kind of their prime years of their career. You've got players like Bentancur as well, who's been a seasoned pro at Juventus. Kulusevski, who's come in and changed things. And the defence as well, who are that much further on in their careers. So I think it's a bit different.
Yeah, yes and no, because when Poch came in, the profile squad is different. You can definitely say we've got better players, but in terms of like the points we were getting on the board in seasons and stuff, like very similar. But when Poch came into when Conte came in, so you could argue it was in a very similar state in terms of the state of the team. But obviously we had better players.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, very exciting.
Absolutely. Let's move on to number 7, and that is prolific own goal.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we've got a bit of luck from own goals this season. 6 own goals Spurs have benefited from this season, which is double anyone else in the Premier League. The nearest one is 3 in second place. So we have benefited from own goals. However, if you do look in terms of how the own goals have helped us, they've earned us an extra 2 points this season. So if you take away all the own goals, we're only 2 points better off. So we'd still be in the top 4 on goal difference ahead of Arsenal. So if they're looking at a bit of luck, I just think it's not seen here too much.
Yeah, and you know what? You can look at our own goals. You can look at them, you know, just giving Nketiah goals at the back end of the season. And I tell you what, they probably earned more from Nketiah just gifted goals than our own goals.
Yeah, probably. I would say so. But yeah, it is a bit of a weird stat. We've got 6 own goals this season, which is our third high.
You do create your own luck in some sense. You know what I mean? Like the own goals that we got given against us, some of them were just created by our own really good play.
Yeah, a lot of them were like Maguire putting it in his net, or like when Michael Keane did it, is because we were about to put it in and they had to make a last-ditch challenge.
Exactly.
So yeah, in those cases, you can argue, yeah, you make your own luck.
Let's move on to number 8, and that is a crucial centre.
So Conte's been famous for developing a mid-block in his team, and you know, some teams like Mourinho's Spurs were a low block. When you look at Pochettino, we had a very high press and a high block. But Conte is very much concentrating on the centre. And obviously, Bentancur and Højbjerg have been very, very crucial to that. And also, actually, the wing-backs, because when they push up, they cover a lot of the middle third of the pitch. And that has resulted to Spurs being third in the league for tackles in the middle third of the pitch throughout the whole season. And that goes to show how effective Conte's mid-block is becoming at Tottenham. And especially when he gets more of his own players, that's definitely going to improve. And it's good to be a bit different, because when you look at Liverpool and City, they both press very, very high. And with Conte's mid-block, it definitely makes us a bit different in terms of our structure and how we play. And I'm looking forward to more of it next season.
Absolutely, and you got to look at, obviously, Bentancur and Højbjerg, the amount of times they win the ball in the middle of the park with interceptions and tackles. But it's not just them as well. You know, you get the wing backs coming in the centre, like you say, to really help the team out. And you've also got Harry Kane dropping deep, and you've also got Romero pushing up into the middle as well. So there's a lot of different factors to why our kind of midfield has been so strong in the latter stages of the season. So big up to Antonio Conte again for the tactics that he has deployed this season. Next up is number 9, and that is clinical Spurs.
So Spurs actually this season have the highest percentage in the league for shots on target compared to shots taken. So if you look at shots taken in the whole Premier League, we're 6th. We actually have had 100 less shots than Arsenal. Then you look at shots on target, we're actually above Arsenal. So no, despite taking 100 less shots, we actually have more shots on target throughout the season than Arsenal. And that goes to show that when we attack, we usually attack with a purpose, and we usually we don't usually like to waste opportunities when we're in the final third to get shots on goal. And we usually wait for the right moment to put the shot in. And usually when we do, it's a shot of high quality and on target. And yeah, I thought that was interesting, that despite the fact that we're 6th for shots on goal, I think we're 3rd for shots on target, and we have the highest percentage. So I don't know whether that's Conte's instruction to always pick out the best positions to have shots from, or make sure you have a good shot, but I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of a few things. So, like, I think, first of all, yeah, it is of what you're saying about Conte, but also when you've got players like Son and Kane and Kulusevski up front, they're elite finishers, especially Son and Kane, you know what I mean? So when you compare that to what Arsenal have got going forward with Nketiah and Lacazette, I mean, it's just worlds apart, you know what I mean? So when you have elite strikers and elite attackers like that, I think that the way how clinical you are is always going to be heightened because of it.
And also the way we attack, we usually like to find our players in very good positions, like the wing backs, for example, and they're always in space. We always like to wait for that, and that obviously is going to lead to a bit more more shots on target than maybe if you're being pressured by defenders and stuff.
Absolutely. And now the 10th and final takeaway, and that is stoppage time winners.
So Spurs earn a massive 7 points this season from stoppage time winners, obviously against Watford, against the 2 goals against Leicester, and against Man City, which earned Spurs a total of 7 points, which obviously that is the big difference between us getting Champions League and us getting not getting Champions League. It's been crucial that Spurs kept that fighting spirit. It was also during a period where we weren't potentially playing at our best, and we were definitely struggling to have cohesive performances and getting our consistency. But the one thing we definitely always had under Conte was that fighting spirit and willing to go to the very end. And those stoppage time winners have given us 7 points, and that's why we're in Champions League. So, and I think that's the most in the Premier League as well. No one's earned more points in stoppage time. So fair play to Conte and to the Spurs team for that.
Exactly. Keep fighting to the end. Steven Bergwijn definitely showed that at Leicester. I mean, that one was just incredible, wasn't it? We were losing in the 94th minute with 5 minutes of added on time.
Yeah, but also to concede in stoppage time and go on to win the game as well. The mentality from the City game to do against the best team in the league, mentality to do that is incredible as well.
It's so easy when you go to the Etihad and you're 2-1 up and they score an equaliser penalty in the last minute, pretty much. It's so easy to be like, all right, fine, we'll settle for a point here, away at the champions, blah, 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 blah. But Conte says no. Conte says no, and he wants that elite mentality to go and win the game and win as many games as you can. And that is absolutely spot on. But again, I bring it back to the fitness as well, because we just weren't capable of these things under Jose Mourinho, because we were flagging in the last 10, 20 minutes of every game. And that elite fitness and elite coaching has brought us there. And also, it's to say it's similar to when Pochettino was here, because he focused massively on fitness as well. And we won a lot of games in the last minute against Pochettino as well. Like, how many times were we losing or drawing games going into the last 10 minutes under Poch, and we ended up turning it around. So that's another case of us getting back to those kind of levels. So amazing stuff. Like I said before, it's been a season of ups and downs, but definitely in the last few months of the season, we saw the highs of where we could have got to last season. Next year, I'm so excited to see what the season can bring. We've got a big transfer budget now to work with. Let's see what we can do, and let's see what we can provide for Antonio Conte. Those are our 10 takeaways. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of them, and also put your takeaways in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.